In this tutorial, we're going to look at perfect passive participles. If you wonder if you really sent that message, you look in the Sent mail folder. You've heard the phrase, a watched pot never boils. It's said that a house divided against itself will not stand. These are all examples of what we call perfect passive participles. In English, many of them are identical to the past tense. I sent the letter, past tense. Sent mail folder, perfect passive participle. I crushed the insect. I used crushed pepper in that recipe. Other times in English, the perfect passive participle is a distinct form. I fell from the chair, but yet our fallen nature. I sang a song, but we talk about unsung heroes. I saw the morning star, but yet children should be seen, not heard. In Latin, the perfect passive participle can be found in the dictionary as the fourth principal part. You look up the verb to love in your dictionary and you find these four principal parts. The first principal part, amo, means I love. The second principal part is the infinitive. It means to love. The third principal part is the perfect tense ego form, I loved. And that fourth principal part is your perfect passive participle. This one, amatum, means just loved or having been loved. Now, the reason this fourth principal part is provided to you in the dictionary is that many of them are so irregular that you could not have predicted the form of the perfect passive participle just from the rest of the verb. So, mitto means to send. The past participle missum would mean sent. Video means to see. The perfect passive participle visum means seen. Here's a famous example. Gallia est omnis divisa in partes tres. Gaul is all divided into three parts. Divisa is the perfect passive participle from dividere, to divide. And you'll notice here it is a feminine form because Gallia is feminine. Because perfect passive participles function as adjectives, taking the same number, case, and gender as the word they are describing. And the endings of this adjective are the first and second declension endings that you know from nouns like puella and servus. And so servus missus would mean a slave having been sent. And you use the same nominative singular masculine ending to match the noun. Another way to translate a slave having been sent, a sent slave. If we have a feminine noun, ancilla missa, a sent slave girl. If we have a neuter noun, donum missum, a sent gift. Remember that they can appear in any of the cases or numbers. And so within the sentence that I saw a slave, here servum is accusative. And if we say I saw a slave sent to the city, then the past participle will also be accusative to match the accusative object that it describes. And remember that there's always a better way to translate than the literal a slave having been sent or a slave sent. You can, if you want, make better English. I saw a slave who had been sent to the city. It's important to know that there isn't a word for who in the Latin. There isn't a relative clause here with qui, but that doesn't mean that a good English translation couldn't add one. If you want to add an agent, in other words, who's the one who did the sending, you're going to use the preposition a, or before a vowel, ab, and so servum missum a domino ad urbem vīdī. I saw a slave who had been sent to the city by the master, a domino. Here's an example in dative plural. Laudem militibus occisis in proilio offerebat. He was offering praise to the soldiers killed in battle. Notice again, second declension masculine ending to match a masculine noun, even though this one is third declension. A better translation than just soldiers killed in battle could be soldiers who had been killed in battle. Perfect passive participles are common in ablative absolutes. Caesare ab inimicos viso eum opugnaverunt. Translated literally, with Caesar having been seen by the enemies, they attacked him. A better translation, when the enemies had seen Caesar, they attacked him. His rebus dictis. Literally, with these things having been said. There's your perfect passive participle. Having been said. Willam discessit. He left the house. But a better English translation, after he had said these things, he left the house. The perfect passive participles of deponent verbs can take a direct object. Remember, deponents are passive in form, but active in meaning. And so, servus villam ingressus dominum salutavit. The slave, having entered the house, ingressus is the perfect passive participle from the deponent verb ingredior, and so it can take the direct object in the accusative of villam. A better English translation, the slave, when he had entered the house, greeted the master.